everyone, and welcome to the daily newspaper analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. Today, we have an editorial for our discussion that has been taken from the Hindu newspaper. The title of this article is Arbitrary, Exclusionary, and it talks about a several times discussed topic that is about the 103rd Amendment that talks about the quota for the economically weaker section of the EWS quota system. So, we will quickly just go through it just to keep you all updated about it. Then we have news update and legal news for the day. So a constitutional bench headed by Justice UU Lalit, as we know that now Justice UU Lalit is the Chief Justice of India, is looking into the 103rd constitutional amendment that provides 10% reservation to the individuals from weaker economic sections, that is known as the EWS quota as well. And here this article says that the issues that shall be heard by the bench are now definitely, as we know, there has been this entire topic that we have already been discussing about the Indra Sahni case, that the reservation should not exceed the 50% cap, and that economically weaker section or being economically weak shall not be the sole reason for providing reservation. But all of these things were quite a way or in a way challenged by this particular EWS quota reservation system. And thus there are some issues attached with this. So the first issue would be whether the amendment has breached the Constitution's basic structure by permitting the state to make special provisions. Secondly, whether it does so in relation to admissions to private unaided institutions. And thirdly, if the exclusion of the OBC, SCs, and ST communities from the scope of the quota tramples on the basic structure. So for the instance, the EWS quota shall be available to individuals with family income less than 8 lakh per annum. Yes, exactly. So basically the cap is so wide that this is problematic, as the census shows that it would actually include a majority of the population. Even some statistics provide that it would actually include more than 80 to 90% of the whole population. So when such a generalistic rule is being made, it cannot even be termed as a reservation system, because that is definitely done for the minorities. But if we have put an 8 lakh per annum cap over here, it is definitely not catering to the minorities, rather to a majority of the population. The other issue that arises is the EWS quota is applicable to the forward classes even if the backward classes are eligible, which means that even if somebody belongs to any other community which otherwise has not been provided with any other reservation but falls under the EWS quota, then also they can avail this kind of reservation. Which would mean that we are giving the reservation solely on the terms of their economic status. Now, the exclusion could become a problem in the future, and it defeats the purpose of the Constitution in allotting a quota in the very first place. And when we talked about the right to equality, that is under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, the fundamental right, and we talked about the intelligible differentia, or basically the reasonable classification. So such classification that we are doing to provide something extra to someone else should be reasonable, it should be intelligible, and it should be based on some particular logic. But here it clearly, right now as it seems, so it does not very powerful enough to stand on the grounds of the constitutional validity. But let's see that what the bench holds for this in the future. Now let's see, what do we have for news updates today. Firstly, World Ozone Day. So the theme for 2022 International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer, marked on 16 September, is Montreal Protocol Act 35, Global Cooperation Protecting Life on Earth. So basically, please remember that the Montreal Protocol was superbly important when it came to the safeguarding of the ozone layer, and the theme recognizes the wider impact the Montreal Protocol has on climate change and the need to act in collaboration, forge the partnerships, and develop a global cooperation to address climate challenges and protect life on Earth for future generations. Secondly, State Bank of India becomes the third Indian lender to cross the 5 trillion rupees market cap. So the shares of State Bank of India becomes the third lender and seventh Indian company to cross the 5 trillion market cap for the first time after its shares rallied over 22% so far this year. The stock hit a record high of 564.85 rupees on the BSE, that is the Bombay Stock Exchange, up 1.3% from its previous close. I would like to get back on the question that I had asked in yesterday's newspaper analysis, and so many of you have given the correct answer. In fact, all of you have given the correct answer. So I definitely like to applaud to the students who have given the right answer. That is Mumbai. So the question was that where is the headquarters of SEBI? That is the Securities Exchange Board of India. So And that is there in Mumbai. And the students who have given the right answer are Ritvik Ghosh, Hitesh Kukreja, Anindo Chatterjee. Anindo rather has given the entire address that SEBI headquarters is at Bandra Kurla Complex, Bandra East, Mumbai, Maharashtra. So it's quite much of a postal address. Very good. Then we have Vaishali Verma, Shivam Prabhakar, Utkarsh Bhushan, Baikunt Deka, Vishal Patil, and Kamal Beniwal, who have all given the right answer that the headquarters of SEBI, it's in Mumbai. On this note, I'd like to ask another question for today, that where is the headquarters of BSE, that is the Bombay Stock Exchange, located? If you know that, let me know in the comment section below. Thirdly, International Day of Democracy, that is 15th September. So the International Day of Democracy was established in 2007 through a resolution passed by the United Nations General Assembly, encouraging the governments to strengthen and consolidate democracy. This year, Democracy Day will focus on the importance of media, freedom to democracy, peace, and delivering on the Sustainable Development Goals. Also, if you can tell me that how many Sustainable Development Goals in total do we have, let me know that number in the comment section. Fourthly, ISRO launches a satellite internet service, so bringing a new dawn in the internet services of the country. Indian Space Research Organization, along with Hughes Communication India, has officially launched its first high throughout satellite broadband internet service to connect the remotest corners of India. Fifthly, TCS becomes India's most valuable brand in 2022. So Tata Consultancy Services, with the brand value of $45.5 billion in 2022, is the new number one most valuable Indian brand, claiming the top spot from HDFC Bank, that valued at $32.7 billion, ranked number 2 on this year's rankings. The other rankings are here already in the picture. You can go through them as well. Let's see, what do we have for legal updates today? Firstly, presumption under Section 113B of Evidence Act not attracted if the incident of cruelty has become so stale to not disturb mental equilibrium of women, says the Madhya Pradesh High Court. So the MP High Court, while interpreting the provisions under Section 113B of the Indian Evidence Act, held that if the alleged incident of cruelty is remote in time and has become a stale enough, that it is old enough to not disturb the mental equilibrium of the woman concerned, then the same shall be of no consequence. And this was held in the case of Govind versus the state of MP. Secondly, vitiated compromise decree can be recalled by the same court. Separate suit challenging the decree shall be barred, says the Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh High Court. So the Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh High Court observed that a compromise deed is essentially a contract between the parties superimposed by the decree of the court, and such a decree can be avoided only by approaching the same court and demonstrating before it that the compromise on the basis of which decree is passed is not lawful. This was held in the case of Raman, deceased now, versus R. Ratrajan. So this was all for today. We hope you liked the session. Thank you so much for staying tuned with LawSikho. If you wish to download the PDF of today's slides, you can join a Telegram channel. The link is there in the description box below. You can also scan this QR code that you can see right now. Thank you so much.